Greetings everybody and welcome to Dracovin Empire. Are you ready to join me and gate our ways back to Golarion, the world setting of Pathfinder role-playing game system? I hope you are, because we're going to be learning about another ancestor. This one that originates originally from TNZ, the Samsaran. So if you're ready to gate and travel through the multiverse, travel through the universe itself to arrive once more in Golarion, in TNZ, grab my hand here, your guide through the gate. Cantus Naravan Dracovin, as I lead you to that place. Remember, of course, to tip your guide, and like and subscribe and ring the bell in the video. So as we gate our way to Golarion once more. We've arrived. Whew. It's always a jump when you step through the gate and arrive in Golarion. But TNZ is always a very nice place if you know the right places. Similar to anywhere in the world. You know the right places to visit, you find some nice people. And the Samsaran are certainly a very nice people, generally speaking. Not always, but your average one will probably be very nice. Well, if you would be doing some further research after our meeting here, where could you look? Well, there's two main sources for this: the Dragon Empire guest tier, I'm never saying that correctly, and the TNZ character guide. And of course, it's an ancestry. Now, the world guide, the character guide. The world guide will provide you some setting stuff if you want to, so that one's not here, but it's least important. So who are the Samsaran, these interesting blue-tinged people? Well, legends say that they originated with a group of scholars in Ziha. They ventured in the mountains to find a cure for an illness that ravaged their village. After their peril, they found this fresh spring water filled with pure magical life essence. The scholars took this and basically brought back this water from their own brinks of death and cured the villagers. And given all the nutrients of life, everyone who drank the water was devoted to learning and experiencing the world in full. Basically, it not only filled you with life, but it also filled you with this inspiration to seize the moment. You're back alive. Seize the moment. But upon death, that devotion to seizing the moment, combined with the magical essence now infused in their bodies, transformed them into the first Samsaran. They dedicate themselves to achieving enlightenment, a true understanding of everything and everyone in the world around them and beyond. They reincarnate many times over, unlike something like a dust wall. With some accumulation, thousands of lives. This cycle continues until an individual achieves this kind of goal of enlightenment they have, or irrevocably fails to make any progress towards it. So it's, you either reach your enlightenment, or you fail in such a way that you will never reach enlightenment. And either way, then, you don't reincarnate anymore. At that time, your soul passes to the great beyond, and their body melts into pure water. For those that succeed in enlightenment, they find a time of peace and satisfaction in the afterlife. Those who failed encounter one filled with misery, punishment, and a reminder of past failures, and in extreme cases, nothing, leaving the soul to waste away for the rest of time. So, yeah. While Samsarans can recall parts of their past lives, these recollections are like half-remembered dreams. By combining these snippets of memories of the past with new knowledge from the current lifespan, they can basically view the world in new ways. You know, they use their memories, kind of dreamlike memories of the past, but they learn now and combine them in new ways to uniquely view the world. The detachment that comes from countless lives can sometimes make it difficult for Samsarans to empathize or connect with others, unfortunately. So, yeah. It's an interesting thing of a cycle of reincarnations that can have some effects on you mentally, too. Now, if you physically look at a Samsaran, they reflect the diversity of what ancestry they had in their first mortal life cycle. That's important. And upon their first rebirth, they too take on the unique features of their kind. So basically, before they reincarnate, their whatever ancestry they were, once they reincarnate, they are more Samsaran. It gives them blue skin, often pale shades, but ranging from deepest midnight navy as well, so different shades of blue. They have pupilless eyes that are typically pallid in color, comparable to the moon. They have transparent or colorless blood, resembling clear water. When they die, they reincarnate into a baby born from a humanoid couple of non-Saracen ancestry, often in a particular area they held affinity for in their previous life cycle. While they may share some features with their previous incarnation, they similarly is most likely the shared appearance of a parent and child rather than identical duplicates. So once you reincarnate, you might have some physical features, other than the blue skin, akin to your previous incarnation, but it's going to be like, almost like you have three parents. You'll be born of, you're born of your two humanoid parents, who you're going to probably have some appearances of, children look like their parents kind of thing. But you're also going to have a little bit of that, previous ones. They age at this normal rate of humans, actually. And unless they succumb to unnatural cause of death, they die at old age of around 100 years old. Children born to Samsarans live their first life cycle as the mortal ancestry their parents had, and will take it on the unique color and eyes of other Samsarans only after their first death. So if you're a Samsaran and have a kid, they will be a Samsaran, but they're going to look like whatever combination of you were in your first existence, your first ancestry, before you became into the cycle of rebirth. Oh, and whoever your partner is, too. The combination of those two is what you're going to be. Now, with the ultimate goal to reach enlightenment, there isn't really a path or prescribed way to do so. Each individual Samsaran explores the universe in their own ways and its secrets. They find their ways into schools, study niche research topics for decades at a time, maybe act in services of different gods, each religion offering guidance or understanding of the universe. Some have periods of internal reflection, isolating themselves from the outside world, where others venture into the world to experience everything firsthand. From one incarnation to another, Samsaran can switch up their paths, pursuing a new avenue of knowledge or experience that they hadn't done the last few centuries, basically. So it's sort of like experiment, figure out what works, kind of discover as each life goes. Because of this independent nature of the Enlightenment, they don't really go... But even with that kind of independent enlightenment, they don't really go through the journey alone. They value community as a space to share knowledge, find support and safety, and establish connection with other similarly minded people. Samsaran communities are very tightly knit, with their enclaves small, focus on knowledge and connection to the world. These enclaves typically occur in schools and temples. Trusted non-Samsarans are invited to these communities to help share their expertise, or to learn for their collective knowledge. So, you're also willing to share the knowledge you've been gaining with even others that aren't Samsarans, other sages that might be looking for it. And conflicting experiences and perspectives are welcome, as they talk through their differences to better have a combined understanding. When a Samsaran travels outside their enclaves, they do to live nomadically until they find something they want to study. If their journey takes them to a non-Samsaran community, they spend several cycles learning and experiencing life within that community, lending their knowledge to people there, becoming a member until they call of enlightenment send them away again. Rarely do Samsaran have children. When they do, the child isn't born a Samsaran. Remember I said they're born of that ancestry, and basically they will reincarnate as a human child born to Samsaran will be a human in their first life. It is a tradition because of this that children of Samsaran lineage who have gone through their first rebirth are to be adopted by non-Samsaran communities and experience their full mortal life, basically. If they are going to be joining the cycle of rebirth, if I have a Samsaran have a child, I want them to experience that first life outside of it. Outside of this cycle. And this isn't really out of cruelty or neglect. They believe that spending the first lifetime amongst one kin is basically an element to properly experience before reincarnating. And it can't be experienced again once you reincarnate. There are some that do choose to raise their children, but they keep members of the child's ancestry as close friends to maintain important connections in that first lifetime. So even if you do raise that child, you will make sure that they are connected with the community of that. But regardless of the upbringing, once they die, they reincarnate for the first time, and the parents will traditionally bring the child into the community and begin the path of enlightenment. Again, you have that kind of dreamlike memories of the past. You kind of have an idea who your parents are, interestingly enough, your lineages of reincarnation, I guess that's would be kind of an interesting thing to, like, show up, 10 reincarnations down the line, and at that point in time, who was your dad is now, whatever, and you're like, hey, dad, sure, whatever, how nice to see you again. I don't know. It's an interesting kind of situation. The core of their identity is preserved in reincarnation, but things like gender, its appearance, perspectives change with incarnation and reincarnation. So they will be very similar beings, but there are aspects of them that will alter every reincarnation, and hence your dad's now your mom after 10 cycles. It's an interesting situation. But I do like that. It's interesting characters. Even with memories shared between life cycles, when a Samsaran is reborn, they are treated as a different individual than their previous incarnation. That's an important part about it, too. You are not who you were before. You are a next cycle of them. You are your own individual, your own version of them. The journey is the destination, so they don't rush through their lifetime trying to reach enlightenment as quickly as possible. Every incarnation, a Samsaran, focuses on a goal that will further understanding the world. If it isn't accomplished in one's lifespan, it gets carried on to the next reincarnation, with some goals lasting hundreds of years. And the blending of these lifetimes, combined with the fact that their cycle continues indefinitely until enlightenment is achieved or failed, gives them a skewed sense of time. With as many lifetimes as they need to accomplish or undo anything, urgency is a big thing for them. Their names are shaped by both their previous incarnations and their present. The first names are given by their parents who raised them in their current life cycle, and therefore reflect the region and culture they're reborn. Upon resuming adulthood, they give themselves a second name that reflects what they learned in their previous incarnation, or represents their golden life cycle. They mostly don't use surnames. If they wish to have one, it often combines the names of their last two incarnations. So, interesting. Now, as for beliefs, with their life centered around enlightenment and the laws of reincarnation cycles, they do tend towards structure and order, tempered by compassion, empathy drawn by existence that spends in a variety of bodies. Their beliefs can actually change between incarnations, with their experience from previous lifetimes impacting the worldview in the current one. Again, you are still a different person, but you're also the same person. It's interesting. Many are drawn towards religion and deities, which provide community and a framework for understanding that could towards enlightenment. With each path being so independently unique, they might follow a variety of gods in any given lifetime. However, though, Tsukiyo is often cited as the patron god of Samsarans, since Tsukiyo's own tale of rebirth and the internal cycles of the moon, they feel kinship with. Some even suggest that Tsukiyo, having blessed the magical springs that the first Samsarans drank from. So, whether that's true or not, again, it's myths, legends, that kind of thing. But it's interesting to see that they are connected together in that little bit of way. But there you go. There's Samsaran in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed learning about it. It's a very interesting path to be these people, because you are certainly speaking on a cycle of things. You will reincarnate when you die. But how far can you get towards enlightenment? What's your next step towards it? Will you fall from enlightenment? And it's not the fact that they are a dying species. Yes, they don't have children very often, but those children will join them in a cycle. And, it might feel like there's just a set number of them in a lot of ways. Because, some of them probably reach enlightenment or fail to reach enlightenment forever. Then that thing that removes them from these group of cycles. But then, you rarely add a few more in. But the problem is, with the skew of time and the hundreds to thousands of years that are going by in all this entire thing, it's really hard to say. I honestly can't skew out how much of a population the Samsaran have. It's this interesting point in time to be at because of that. I do find it fascinating. They are known as uncommon, but I'm guessing that's because they're uncommon in TNZ. They are an interesting group. I think that's the best way to say a very interesting group that has this connection to past lives that is very cool. And a kind of connection to just being a wanderer and seeking knowledge. certainly speaking, if you were playing one as a character, you're doing that. You're wandering about, seeking knowledge, seeking something that will help you towards your enlightenment, your next step in that journey. And there is a lot of interesting ideas. And certainly speaking, it does mean you could probably travel far and wide from non-TNZ to the corners of Golarion to help seek that out. And maybe in some few hundred years, few hundred generations, of dozens of reincarnations, you'll return back home to TNZ and bring back that idea of knowledge, that echo of your pasts. You were these beings, but you are you now. You have that dreams of their memories, the knowledge of the past that you use to combine to your new future, a new step towards your life. That's why they are quite interesting. But I hope you enjoyed learning about them today. I think that was a fun one to jump into. It's an interesting ancestry that I think has a lot of potential for role-playing stuff. So that's kind of my question I'm going to ask today. Have any of you had any experience with playing them or played with them? That'd be a good thing to know. And, remember that liking, subscribing, ring the bell in the meantime. And if you want to check out more of my stuff, I do have a schedule that's uploaded every Monday, usually around noon, maybe early afternoon. That goes up on my social medias. That's over on my Discord, over on my Blue Sky, over on my X/Twitter, and over on the community portion of my YouTube. That lets you know when I'm going live on Twitch, whether it's for gaming or tabletop-related stuff, when I'm recording stuff like this, or when I'm throwing stuff over on YouTube. The YouTube schedule is a little bit more exact than the Twitch side, just because that stuff, usually I only miss stuff if I have a problem with a video and I have to switch to it. Pretty simple stuff. Yeah. I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna hang out with Twitch. I think that's everything I need to shout out. Remember to check out my social media. Hey, I said something about cat stuff too. That's a good place to just see what's going on, updates and stuff like that. And thank you very much. I'm gonna get going, as I said, and until next time, we'll talk about our ancestry or something in Golarion. Regardless, another thing in tabletop. I bid all of you out there a deep and wonderful farewell.